Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown analysis, West Division previews, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, West Division champs, 5 years running. So let's take a look at them, talk about some of the things. So let's open the playbook on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Before we start, please subscribe to the page and turn notifications on. It's going to help support the page and promote CFL content out on YouTube. There's not enough of that, and subscribing allows you to know when we're posting new stuff. All right, the Bombers. Let's talk about a couple of things to start on. So some of their offseason. I got some notes here. They were able to start at times 8, 9. There was a couple of times they started 10 Canadians. And I think that's an amazing tributes to, kind of what the culture Mike O'Shea wanted to build there is like, we're going to get the best players. I don't care their nationality. We don't have a problem playing linebackers, anybody. We're going to play as many players as we can. We're going to recruit well our Canadian talent and give us flexibility at other spots. Now, the interesting thing, when you have that many guys and you have some young guys playing, you can't. If you got 10 guys starting in the second on your roster that are Canadians, you're probably not going to be able to re-sign everybody, and that's kind of what happened. Tyrell Ford, Liam Dobson, both gone as starters because you just don't have enough money to pay guys. So they might have to use more traditional players. They might be just playing 7 nationals this year, or they might be going as more teams utilize the nationalized player getting reps. He can get the declared player can get 25 reps as a basically non-import or national. There's some of those opportunities there that other teams have used. The Bombers haven't had to use the last couple of seasons where one of your Americans can play 25 snaps. So that could happen this year. And, there were some high-priced free agents out the door last year. Kenny Lawler, Liam Dobson, Tyrell Ford. But I like what they did. I think they used the money that not signing those guys for, look at these names, Jonathan Jones, Dylan Mitchell, Jared Stearns, Reggie White Jr., Peyton Logan, James Vaughters. That they've got a lot of guys who had experience just at a lower price point. So they got a little bit more veteran players instead of having to play young players. James Vaughters comes in from Calgary. If you remember last year around Willie Jefferson, because of their injuries, they played so many young defensive linemen. So this gives them a little bit more experience across the board. And sometimes, you don't want to overpay for your wide receivers, but I think they did a good job in getting some veteran receivers at a better price point. So they are going to have some less flexibility, but roster-wise, we'll see. But let's look at their stats from last season. Let's start with offensively. Offensive points, 7th in the CFL. Obviously a far cry from what they've been the last couple of years. So hopefully they can get back to the highest levels. Net offense, 6th. Rushing in the CFL, still 3rd at 118 yards rushing a game. But passing, they really dropped off. Hopefully Dalton Schoen helps them as he comes back. They're 8th in the CFL. Passing TDs, only 18, which was last in the CFL. Another big one. Takeaways tied for 3rd, so they did a good job protecting the football. They had some turnovers early in the season, but I thought they protected the football for the most part after that. A couple other big things. Red zone, they weren't great, 6th in the CFL. And pass efficiency, deep ball passers, that's one of the things they have been incredible at the last couple of years. They've actually they threw a lot of interceptions on 20-plus passes last season. Not a lot of TDs, but a lot of interceptions. Defensively, a total change on what's happening defensively. So, new coordinator. You sometimes go, okay, what did Jordan Younger want to be? He was with Richie Hall. Maybe he's going to do the same thing. No, they made a drastic change. Way less of a pressure defense, more of a coverage defense. And what does that mean? Instead of rushing on 2nd down, 4 rushers, 5 rushers, or 6 rushers, and try to have man-to-man opportunities on the offensive line, Jordan felt that we should go more. We're going to rush 3 people, and we're going to double team as many people in the secondary as we can so the quarterback has nobody to throw to. And it took some getting used to early in the season, but it was a dramatic improvement for this defense. Opponent offensive points given up, number 1 in the CFL, 20 points. Net offense, first in the CFL. Opponent first downs, first in the CFL. Rushing yards, they're 6. They gave up 104, and I think they're fine with that. Passing yards, first in the CFL. Completion percentage, opponent completion percentage, in a league where teams almost average over 70% in the CFL now, 61%. Best passing TDs, second. Pass efficiency, first in the CFL. Opponent pass efficiency, that held them to the worst. Sacks made, last in the CFL. So again, let's go back to my original statement. The Bombers made a change saying we want to cover more than we want to pressure. And sooner or later, if nobody's open, you're going to get pressure anyways, or the quarterback's going to throw it away. He won't get completions. Sometimes when you pressure and play man, or you blitz and rush more than you cover, you leave wide open opportunities if the quarterback can get the ball out of his hand. So different philosophy, but pretty good results, but they did not get the sacks. Why? Because now who got double teamed? The defensive lineman. You would have a guard and a tackle able to block Willie Jefferson. So that's the kind of thing they gave up, but obviously their stats come up and say it was a good thing. Takeaways, 5th in the CFL. Interceptions, only 8th. That's a surprising thing with only 8th. Sometimes it's because errant throws, come from pressure. Turnover margin, 4. So plus 4 in turnover margin, which was 4th in the CFL. An interesting thing, like early in the season, they had 3 losses by 9 points, including an overtime game. So they could have, early in the season, everyone's like, what's going on with Bombers? What's wrong? They had some change, and, they lost a couple of close games, and they turned the ball over in those first few games. Brady Oliver led the CFL in 20-plus runs, was awesome. Nick Dembski, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and we get the return of Dalton Schoen. So, they did start out 0-4. 4-2, 5-1, beat Sask, lost to Toronto in the Grey Cup. I thought the defense just took some time, with a new defense coordinator, new philosophy. My coaching big points, focus on the game, game to game. So when they start this season, we're like, hey, the Grey Cup's here in Winnipeg. Winnipeg's been the Grey Cup 5 seasons in a row. You're going to make it a 6. It's at home. That's so far away from what they have to worry about. They got to worry about getting a win each week and just worry about it one practice at a time, one game at a time. Osh does a great job preaching that. Don't worry about, hey, you're hosting the Grey Cup, all that stuff, or getting back there. Just worry about winning a game to week. I thought that the free agent Canadian big dollars going out the door, there's going to be opportunities for other guys to step up. I'm looking forward to seeing that. How are they going to replace those guys? It'll be interesting to shake out how their 7 starters are. And the stats, great story. We just talked about it. The defense took a little while to roll, but first in so many categories. You couldn't make passes. They couldn't complete passes. If you get in second and long against Winnipeg, they're going to drop everybody. They're going to play multiple defensive sets, multiple DBs, and it's going to be hard to get passes and complete passes. Offense does need to improve throwing the football. Fewest passing TDs in the CFL last season. The deep ball was way off compared to what they've done the last year. And Zach's so good at seeing that. Looking forward to seeing if he gets it back. I already talked about it. I thought the receivers, they had Dylan Mitchell, Reggie White, Jared Stearns, were all veteran ads with affordable contracts, so you get some experience. And Jamal Parker would come back at field corner. He had a really good field corner, played in 2023, 8 games, started 5, including playoffs, and Dalton Schoen. So I think there's some good pieces to come back. A lot of pressure in Winnipeg because they got the Grey Cup, but looking forward to seeing what this Bomber team has this season. The fuck is